Alright guys, good morning. In the past few weeks I'm not be able to upload any video at all. I'm very sorry for that. That's because my work related demands some attention, hence no time for vlogging. But today I have a time for vlogging, and I'm going to talk about one of the features that GH5 has, and GH5 are very excel in doing so, which is image stabilization. Alright. If you know or have GH5, you know that image stabilization on GH5 is top notch, but it's also confusing because at least they have three different kind of image stabilization. They have in-body image stabilization, which is in itself basically they put the sensor in some kind of gyroscope that is can compensate any shakiness when you hand holding the camera. That's in body image stabilization. That also has lens image stabilization. So the lens itself, they also have some kind of way of reducing the shakiness. So both the camera and the lens has that image stabilization. If we combine those, we will get dual image stabilization. Right, that's pretty much explain everything. But when you upgrade the firmware of GH5 to version 2.0, you actually have one more image stabilization, which is Iage lock or image stabilization lock. So me is questioning whether what is Iage lock? What's the difference between image stabilization lock and regular lock, regular image stabilization, which is in-body image stabilization and then the lens image stabilization or dual stabilization. Let's call that regular image stabilization. And what is the difference between those and the image stabilization lock? It's got me thinking, and after reading website, reading all the Google articles kind of things, I think somehow I got the answer. So I'm gonna share it with you now. I don't know whether it's correct, but if I make mistake or I'm not saying the right thing, please correct me in the comment below, right? Okay, here it goes. In the regular image stabilization, either in-body image, lens image stabilization or dual image stabilization, they actually trying to compensate unwanted movement. Well, is there any wanted movement? Yes, there is. So for example, if you use the dual image stabilization or in-body image stabilization, turn it on, what it does is basically we telling the camera that, hey camera, I'm going to move around, but can you please compensate the shakiness that I produce by using it handheld. So what you can do is basically you can pan the camera. The panning things is the movement that we want, but the shakiness when you holding the camera while you panning it is unwanted movement. That's what the image stabilization or regular image stabilization trying to compensate. All right, but what's the difference with the Iage lock, right? How can you lock the image stabilization? Image stabilization is compensating, right? But when you lock it, it's locked rigid. So it's a bit confusing. But the thing is, when you turn on the image stabilization lock, basically we're telling the camera that, hey camera, I'm going to be very standstill. I am the tripod, but I'm not. So compensate any wanted an unwanted movement. I mean, every movement that I will make is unwanted. So please compensate all of those. I'm not going to do panning. I'm not going to do vertical movement kind of things. I just want to be very standstill. That's what we actually are telling to the camera. So the camera understands that, and then what it does, the camera does is they actually allow more compensation. So say for example, in regular compensation, you can move that much. In the Iage lock, they probably can do more flexible way. So that's what I'm thinking about it. However, when you do panning using Iage lock on, what's going to happen is, say for example, the Iage lock on giving more flexible way, right? But there are some certain travel in terms of movement of the camera or the sensor that they can compensate. Say for example, few degrees, right? So for example, if you actually panning it, the Iage lock will try to lock in the same scene. So say for example, they locked it here, and then you panning it, so the sensor will be like that. And then if you force this camera by panning it more, and then it will break the locked mechanism and then getting to the new lock. Again, doing that same way, and so on and so forth. So basically, if using the Iage lock on, and then you panning the camera, what you will get is basically a jumpy movement. Like for example, they lock it here, you panning, lock it there, panning, lock it there, panning, lock it there. Those kind of arrangement that Iage lock will do. The difference between the regular IBIS or dual IS, they're giving a little bit shorter movement, but it allows us to panning it. So basically, when we panning it, the camera will know that before they actually at the end of this the maximum travel that they make adjustment. So there's no jumpiness there. So it's not going like that. All right, it's just smooth. But again, your movement in terms of hand holding it, it will be compensated. So that's the difference between Iage lock on and then regular image stabilization. All right, I will test this. I will make several tests of this system. I will compare between Iage lock and then regular image stabilization. Now, one of YouTubers is asking question, John Kironde, if you listening this, this is for you, and for everybody else, of course. I'm going to test now using a regular vlogging and then statics and then probably dynamic as well. I want to know if I using Iage lock and then I move forward, whether it's gonna be better compared to regular image stabilization. And I'm going to use the Panasonic Leica 12mm 1.4. All right, let's do it. Sorry, let's do it outside. Cheers.